welcome. We're here. We're back at it again. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, comment, because we need the algorithms to algorithm. Thank you for joining us. It's the Empty Thought Show. I am your host, EmEz. Taylor, what up?
What up? It's your girl T-Diddy, _T. How was your weekend? Everything.
Yo, listen.
How's the new year treating you?
I'm 10 days in, and I'm already, you can have 2023 gone.
Really?
No, not really, but kind of. My kids are the worst, but I love them. My son is teething again. So he had a fever.
Again? They teeth more than once? I don't got kids, so I can ask these questions.
How many teeth you got in your mouth?
How many teeth do we have in our mouth? 30-something, right?
So that's how many times he teethes.
No, it's not.
Every time they grow a tooth, they teeth, Taylor.
But you don't teeth every 30 times.
Anyways, for the parents out there, so my son Zamir was teething and he's got a fever. He's on a sleeping pattern that's fully opposite of a normal person's sleeping pattern. So he falls asleep at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning when I've been up with him all night trying to get him to fall asleep. And then he sleeps until like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the worst. So if you see the bags under my eyes, it's not because I'm high today. Normally I'm high, but it's just I haven't been sleeping. So I'm kind of sleep deprived. What about you? Shut up, Taylor.
I've been cool.
No new mins?
It's always...
There's always somebody lingering?
It's always someone. Not lingering, because I let that go. But...
Damn, bruh.
But look, I'm glad you talked about... We're going to talk about my love life and everything, because we got a special guest today with us.
Oh, good segue. Nice.
We got our boy Humble in the building.
One time.
Humble the poet.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. But he has his book called How to Be Loved. And
have you read this book, Taylor?
I actually read some of the chapters. I was listening to the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some...
What speed?
What speed?
What speed to listen to the audiobook?
What do you mean what speed?
You can adjust the speed.
Oh, I don't
know.
You
don't do that.
Princess, what speed was it?
When I read it? Oh, I read it on 1.
You do it on 1, eh? Oh.
Yeah, it's like your actual tone. I checked the other speeds. It was just too much.
Too much?
Too fast.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. I normally do it like 1.3 for other people's books.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Baby.
so with this book, Humble, well, first of all, let's talk actually about who you are and everything else. So do you want to make your introduction or shall we?
I could do it. I'm from the city of Toronto, born and raised. I used to be an elementary school teacher. I taught.
We'll give you the backstory.
I taught the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
I'm pretty sure all his students were smart, though.
Kids are good. And then I got into like spoken word poetry, and then that evolved into hip hop, and then that evolved into the written word. So I've been making music, writing books, designing clothes, and having an artist's journey, and exploring everything. And I think the idea of unlearning, I think when you grow up in the school system and then you work in the school system, you're kind of in a bubble. And then I left that to like get into entertainment. And in entertainment, everybody that recognizes your talent is just trying to chip away at you. They're trying to exploit you.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're a teacher, someone recognizes your talent, they're trying to uplift you.
Yeah.
There's no competition. Everyone's paid based off their seniority or their whatever. You're not competing with each other for nothing. And entertainment chewed me up. And then I think the first thing I had to do was like look at life and be like, well, where are all these romantic ideas I have about people being good, people respecting me, people helping each other out? And I wrote my first book, Unlearn, based off of that. Self-published that. Used to sell it at my shows to instead of like T-shirts for merch. And then that took off. And then that got picked up by the bookstores. And I got plugged into the major system. And now I have my 3rd book here, How to Be Loved.
Yeah.
Same idea, just unlearning. So unlearning love now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the process though? How long does it take you to write?
This one was like pitched. I still got to pitch stuff. Even if it's a formality, I pitched this December 2019.
Okay.
So it was like right before the pandemic. And so the whole journey took 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pandemic hit, so it was a convenient time to sit in a room and write.
So this happened. You wrote this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing about writing during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere to go. So did you find yourself writing more than you wanted to?
No, you know what it is? My New Year's resolution for 2020 was like no travel. I was like, I travel a lot, either because I have to or because the opportunity arises. And then January and February, I was on 20 flights. Everything from like work trips to like going to Trinidad for Carnival, doing everything that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic hit, and it like helped me keep that New Year's resolution. Now you're stuck in one spot. And what happened was my first book I wrote by myself. I didn't know how to write a book. I just wrote random stuff, put it together, called it a book.
Mm-hmm.
Then I signed with a major. I sat down with an editor, and she's like, you're a good writer. I'm going to turn you into a professional writer.
Okay.
But then I took too much of her advice, and then it wasn't authentically my voice no more. It was just saying yes to everything because it was my first time with a major.
Gotcha.
So then this process was like, okay, let me take everything I've learned from them, but make it my own and do this without anybody overseeing it, nobody kind of breathing over my neck. So it was actually cool because it was like, it gave me something to look forward to. And also like I created like a routine where like at night, I would plan out what I was going to write, put on these big ass sticky notes, and I put it on my window. And then in the morning, I'd wake up and then I would like the computer would be right in front of the window and I would just go like first thing first, like fresh mind, just go at it. And originally it was like 1,000 words a day was the goal. And I marked it with a calendar and I used to like put it on social media if I did it or not. Then I changed it to 1 hour a day, uninterrupted writing. And it didn't matter how many words, 1 word, 1,000 words, 2,000 words. As long as I did that 1 hour without interruption, it was a victory. And it added up.
Is there a big outside influence on your writing?
Yeah, you got a life every day. Like this whole thing is just based off me trying to figure out love. So it's just based off failed relationships. It's based off me hearing other people do stuff. It's based off me researching. So I'm like researching dating coaches, and I'm researching philosophers, and I'm researching spiritual teachers. And then you start like focusing on love so deeply, then I start hearing it in like every Kobe interview. So I started picking up on that. You know what I mean? Because you start to realize that, like, you know, you're married. So you understand that, like, the success of your marriage isn't this romantic love trips to Paris.
Yeah, no.
It's the day-to-day grind in the gym. It's the, you know, keeping the fights at the level. The fight about the dishes is about the dishes. It doesn't get bigger. Yeah. Or whatever it is. And that's no different than you hearing about Kobe being in the gym 4 a.m. doing free throws or whatever. It's the boring, unsexy work that makes it look good to the rest of the world. Yeah. So as I started picking up everywhere, just realizing what love is and realizing that like love isn't something that somebody gives to you. It's something that you realize through your relationships with people and your relationship with things.
What do you think is the biggest misconception of love?
That you have to earn it or find it or like deserve it.
Okay, so let's go to it since you want to point.
I'm just saying, bro.
Love isn't earned. What do you mean by that?
So, like-
Because I feel like, no, go ahead.
So we gotta stop looking at love as like a prize. Like you gotta stop looking at love as like the
I like him.
it's not the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And
Why
you
not?
gotta do or be something. Because that's reducing love.
Okay, so
Love is way bigger than that.
you're right. Just time out. Relax. So I have a question.
Just sit back.
Courting and everything else. Like if I would like that from a guy,
Yeah, you can have that.
but I also feel like it's somewhat earned because I mean it's a gift to.
Well, he's earning your time. He's earning your attention. He's earning your, a second date. He's earning all of these things.
Yeah.
That's not love.
It turns into.
Do you have
love.
any nieces and nephews?
Yes.
Okay, the first time you held your nephew.
Thank you.
as a
I was
baby.
gonna go there.
But that's two different things.
No, it's
I
not.
feel like.
Hold on. Love is
Why?
love. So
Love
the
is
first time
love.
you held your nephew, what did he do to earn your love? What did he do? If anything, you know,
Good night.
Exist.
It's just,
he probably
yeah.
threw up on you. He probably did the opposite.
Had a shit in your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dookie in the diaper. Nothing to
Anything.
deserve love. Love is love. Love is being.
The love is already
But I
there.
think that's
But-
unconditional love. You're talking about unconditional love. When you're in a relationship,
That's what I'm saying.
that's earned. Unconditional love is earned.
Yeah.
Respect is love is earned.
Yeah,
Trust is earned.
So this is the thing, it's that Canal Street love that you guys are talking about. It's the bootleg shit. Attention, affection, adoration, success, power, clout. All of these things are the things that we're chasing. and we think it's love, but it's not love. So what you're saying with all this stuff is he's got to earn my attention. He's got to earn my respect. He's got to earn my time.
No, I'm not talking about necessarily earn your respect. 'Cause I feel like everyone should have their balance. Like, people should get respected first, like, meeting. But when it comes to, like let's talk about sex, right?
Yeah.
A guy should have to earn
Your vagina.
Yes.
Yeah, but sex isn't love.
There it goes.
It's a piece of love.
Sex is a way to
It
express
can be
love.
express love. Okay, no,
But you can have sex with
Express
somebody
love.
you
You're right,
don't
you're right,
love.
You're right.
Right?
But I don't
Disconnect
know, I
your
feel
love
like-
in the vagina. That's
But then how do we? When you say love is love, like how do we just love someone? Like
I love
don't-
you,
Well,
Taylor.
you-
I love you, Taylor.
You,
But you
We've
didn't love
been,
me.
we've never been sexually intimate, never
Of
will.
course
But I
not.
love you.
We don't have to be sexual. No, I'm not saying
But I will
that,
watch
though.
out if somebody does something to disrespect you. I got you. No one will ever do something wild, crazy in front of you while I'm saying because I love you like that. That's that. There's no. You haven't done anything to earn that love.
You didn't.
What'd
It's
you
not
do?
like you cared for me when we first met, though.
yeah, so what you guys are doing, so now look at it this way. The analogy I like using is love is a breeze, and your work is to open your sail. The love's already there. So love is already existing. What you're doing is, and the way I like to frame it is don't say I love you, say you show me where love is. And don't say I hate you.
Hold on. Say that again. Say that again. Bring that down. Break that down again.
So don't say I love you, including to your mom, your husband, your wife, everything. Don't say I love you. This is a Peter Crone idea. This dude, he's a G. It's not I love you. It's you show me where love is.
You show me what love is.
You show me where love is.
Where love is. Ooh.
You're a source of love. You showing we created a pathway of love. That little baby that done nothing is showing you where love is. You feel the love just by holding the baby. Don't say I hate you. What you're saying is you show me where my fears are. Because we don't like in other people what we don't like in ourselves. So what the way we got to look at this is you're creating a pathway with people, and that what allows the love to flow. You guys are establishing a history. You guys are going through shit together, and you realize the more you guys go through shit together, the more vulnerable you guys are together, the more you guys actually have a deeper bond. It don't come from the superficial stuff. It comes from being in shit together. You know, grinding together, being vulnerable with each other. Vulnerability.
Kick her in her face sometimes though.
But that's what love is too.
All right, no doubt.
Love is a kiss on the cheek, a kick in the ass. It's
Yeah,
all that
man.
stuff. That's what
Love you, Taylor.
you know. But that's what love is. You know, your
Love is
parents.
all these emotions.
Your parents. I mean, parents love children, and they got to kick the children
Of
in the ass
course,
sometimes.
of course.
You know, because the children are wherever they are in development. So the thing is, what happens with a lot of us is we don't understand. Love is a lot simpler than we think. It's not easy. But
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Love is just peace. And the work that we're doing is cleaning up the mess of all the other stuff that's in the way. Our insecurities, all our ideas that we get from like media and TV and all of that. So we see Ross and Rachel, Bobby and Whitney, Blueface and his girl. We see all of this, but we see, and then people start to believe this is what it should look like.
No,
Yep.
Yeah, I have.
And they don't realize that no, this is made for entertainment, and the healthiest relationships you'll ever see in the world would never get a TV show.
If they're boring as shit.
They're uneventful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as they should be. Because the healthiest things are going to be uneventful.
That's it.
They're nutritious. They're not delicious.
Whoa, yo, listen. Damn it. This is y'all not paying attention. I hope y'all paying
I
attention.
need you at all my interviews. Straight hype, man. I love it.
It's amazing.
So that's what it is. So when you're dating, it's the same thing. So what you're doing first and foremost, if there's no self-love, there won't be love with somebody else.
Of course.
Right.
I agree with that.
So then what you're doing is you don't even have to have expectations of another person. You can just have standards, and the standards are met or the standards are not met. And that decides if you're investing in another person. But there's no one earning. It's just investing time, energy, and all of that. All of those are going to clear that pathway for you guys to have a level of love. For you guys to actually form a stronger bond and realize more love between you guys, the only thing you can do is vulnerability. And that's where it's a challenge because guys grow up being taught that vulnerability is a weakness. And it often takes a woman to crack the coconut for us.
Now, okay. This Taylor, we're gonna get to you. We're gonna crack you open like a coconut today, baby girl. Don't worry about it. Unintentionally, today's about you. Perfect is the enemy of love.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. And I think this goes back to, I told you, this is about you, Taylor. Women's view of what a relationship should be, how things are supposed to be. I believe that roles are fluid. It doesn't have to be, oh, men do this, women do that. I don't believe in that type of thing, but I do believe that there's supposed to be certain roles. If you're cooking,
Okay.
I'll clean.
Okay.
If you driving, I got the gas. Like
I've been
it's supposed to be a balance. Can you get into the ideology of the perfect is the enemy of love for me?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the idea that we think we have to earn love, right? We think we have to earn it, and we think we have to be something for it. And again, I keep reminding people, like, think about someone you genuinely love. You could probably list out all their flaws, and none of their flaws disqualify them from your love. It doesn't make you love them less.
Mm-hmm.
So stop thinking your flaws make people love you less, you know? And then, I mean, actually in the book, what I actually reference Beyonce, and I'm like, there's a YouTube video of Beyonce falling off stage. It's a 4-minute YouTube video of Beyonce falling off stage, making mistakes, wardrobe malfunctions, all that stuff. I'm like, watch the video and see if it impacts your relationship with her. It doesn't. If anything, you see more of a human and you love her even more.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Vulnerability makes you love somebody. Being perfect. If somebody was actually perfect, which doesn't exist, then they would have nothing to be vulnerable about. And vulnerability is the only way to connect with somebody. And again, there's levels to vulnerability.
Yes. I was gonna say yes. Let's get to
But
that.
again, like I learned this from my therapist. She's like, okay, you should be vulnerable with everybody you meet, but there's levels. So for example, level 1 vulnerability for me, a story I can tell a stranger who I met for the first time. Be vulnerable, not scare them away. I showed you that picture of my puppy. That's my second dog. I had a dog before that. Lived 11 years. Beautiful German Shepherd. He passed away. Crushed me. Didn't want to get another dog. Waited X amount of years. This puppy came into my life. So happy it happened. It's a vulnerable story, but it's nothing that's going to scare away a stranger. But I'm being vulnerable. And here's what happens when you're vulnerable with somebody. You give them an opportunity to be vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
So what happens if, I'm sorry, what happens if you open up and you are vulnerable to the person and they completely disregard it?
That's their story. That's where they're at. That's where they're at. I've been there. You know, you hear that stuff about like women expressing their pain to men, and then men try to solve it or shut them up or try to do whatever. It's because it's triggering our pain, and we don't want to feel that, so we're trying to solve it. We don't know. Because again, who was going to teach us that? What we had to learn is feel that pain and just be like, I'm sorry, baby, this sucks, and just hold each other and cry. But that vulnerability is a strength. It took me forever to learn that. And again, I've seen it. Like I was in a studio in LA recently, and a dude, much younger dudes, young rapper dudes in LA, they were talking about like girl drama, and he's like, "Yo, she just keeps arguing with me, and I don't know what happened. I feel like God came through me, and He typed through my phone, and I typed, I can't see you no more." So he's being vulnerable. Another young dude's like, "What you mean God typed for you? Did God use His thumbs and type your text?" He totally killed the vulnerability. He didn't allow, but they're young and dumb. It is what it is. But now that guy is not going to tell another story and be vulnerable.
Right.
Again. That's what it is. It's not like epic toxic masculinity. It's just people not holding that space. Meanwhile, I was in a room with 13 men who were business owners, former NFL players, athletes, all of this, who would be considered alphas. One dude started talking about having his mixed race kids, 2 twin sons, and how they get teased at school, and he broke down crying. And that scared nobody. That made nobody uncomfortable. Everyone just gave him a big hug. The vulnerability is what we all need. Ideally, if guys can do it with each other, it'd be better than them having to learn it from a girl first, because that's your whole Nala turning Simba into a man.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh.
That was good. Ooh. Nyla turning Simba into a man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because you know what it is though too? There's
Here you go.
The girl makes you leave.
No,
The
what
girl
am I
makes you
to
leave your
say?
boys to become a man. That's the story. It's always the same story. She gets you to. She's more interesting than your boys. You leave them. They hate. Oh, he's with this girl or whatever. But then she turns you into a man.
I feel like, what are you thinking? Actually, so look, I think I'm a victim of that, of like not being
You're a victim
vulnerable.
of victimization. You victimize yourself.
I think, because I grew up in a 2-parent household. Like, I don't have any like daddy issues, mommy issues, nothing like that. But with my experiences with love and relationships and everything else, it has made me to this day to be like,
To this day.
to be scared, I guess, to be vulnerable. But
Yes.
I have been learning and growing and understanding that I need to give in these niggas some chances. And recently, like, I did something really tough for me. Because I'm very used to, like, cutting niggas off for real. Like, if I don't like something, and he'll try to tell you, like, if I don't like the smallest thing about a guy.
If his toenail is
Why do
bigger,
you keep... That never happened.
this nigga's got
That never
crusty feet,
happened.
EmEz. I can't let him rub his crusty feet on me. He gotta
That
go.
never happened. I don't know where he gets that
No
from.
doubt.
I don't know where you ever got the toe story from.
Maybe it's because I got crusty feet.
Okay. So there's your confession. So there. But recently I wasn't liking how this guy was not necessarily treating me. We just weren't aligned, I felt.
Yeah.
So I had to discuss with him, like, look, I don't think that we're aligned, and I think we're better off as friends and everything else. That was actually what?
Is this the first time you actually let a guy know you weren't feeling him anymore?
No, like I broke up with guys, but I don't feel like I've ever really expressed or I really told them why I felt away. Because he did something that like made me like, I don't like it. Or I just didn't like how our dating was going.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. But
I think the other thing that you said is a little bit more
what?
concerning. I don't got mommy or daddy issues.
Why?
Because everybody does. Everybody learned love. The first person to teach you about love are the people that raised you.
Well, I'm saying like what people call mommy and daddy issues. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
I
What?
want to push back on that one because I don't remember learning love from my mom at all.
No, they're just your first models of love. I'm not saying they're sitting there teaching you it. They're your first models of it. So what?
Yeah,
they
like
so. For
example.
example, let's say let's take it out. You live in a house full of people, like 10 people in your house, and it's chaos. And you grew up like that, and then someone puts you in a quiet house. It's just gonna feel uncomfortable because you're used to the chaos.
Yeah.
So what you saw with your parents becomes your first foundation of just understanding, subconscious.
Yeah, no,
Just your
that makes
environment. It becomes a comfort zone, and if people aren't self-aware about it, you might have done work and be like, okay, that when I was 12, that's all I knew, and because our brains are still developing up until 26, you're like, that's all I knew when I was 12, and I thought, this is how everybody's family was until I went out and saw other people's houses. Now, as an adult, especially as a parent, because being a parent is instant, I got to deal with my shit. Instantly, you got to deal with your shit the second you have kids. You don't even need to go there. You got to deal with your shit immediately, and I get that. So from that standpoint, you're like, oh, wait, now I'm starting to recognize the gaps that my parents had. However, when you're young, the context of those gaps aren't there. Because we don't know, we don't view them as imperfect beings, but it still sets a certain tone. So then what happens is it's no different than like your favorite food as a kid. You still lean on that when you're having a bad day. Comfort food.
Yeah, you're right.
So our parents are comfort food in that context too. And it's like, so it goes both ways. It goes like so if I thought, and I'm not even saying our parents did it on purpose, but if I thought I had to earn my dad's love, meanwhile, he's just working 12 hours a day. He's tired. He gets home. I take him not paying attention to me as a rejection. I think I got to work harder to get his attention. Then I'm going to lean towards that with everybody, thinking that that's what it needs to be, men and women, not even just romantic. And then somebody gives me attention without me putting effort, I might be like, whoa, that's gross.
Yeah.
Fuck, like, yo, back up.
No,
I need to earn it. I'm used to earning. I'm used to chasing the girl that takes 3 days to text me back, not the girl who actually acts like a
Yeah,
civilized
it's like
person.
the compliment right away. It's like, hold on, what?
Yeah, like, wait,
Right.
what? Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what that mommy and
Yeah.
daddy issues is.
Gotcha.
It's like, I'm used to this, and you're showing me something different and potentially healthier, right? But it's like, but I'm gonna stick to what I know.
I feel like mine's the opposite because I'm a daddy's girl. Like, so I put him on a pedestal. So how these guys, I feel like today, they don't.
You're comparing them
yeah.
to your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's an unfair comparison.
I know. Because my
Hello.
dad's amazing. But, and I know all
Would your
these-
dad? Now here's a question: would your dad? And it's an honest question, and I make a mention about this for grandparents. Would your dad be the same person if he grew up in a world of Instagram?
Yes.
You think?
Because you know why? Look, because y'all know for real. Because my dad is so against, like, even when it comes to, like, the holidays. He don't like the commercial stuff.
We're not
Because
talking about
that's how he grew up. If he was 19 years old today, he'd be on the gram. What is you saying?
Also, I don't know what.
I really don't think my dad would. Y'all don't know him.
So
Like,
that
for
means
It's not
real.
about
so he'd be the nerd of the world.
It's environment. It's just environment. It's just you put someone in a certain.
The only reason why, because you don't think my mom's fucking on Instagram. So why wouldn't he be?
No, but they're not doing it. They got on after. They're not doing it the way we do it. Right? My parents are on all of it too now. you know, and it's hilarious to watch them do it, but they're not doing it the way we do it. My dad's sharing viral videos with me that are like 6 months old. I got
That's hilarious.
You know, he's still learning. He's still learning how to use a share button and all of that stuff. But at the same time, it's like the environment's different. Also, like their relationship, they spent, you know, go back to the 80s and the 90s.
Okay.
They spent 3 hours a day together. Max.
Oh no, we talk about this all the time. Like the communication was way different. It was like, all right, babe, I'm going to work. See you when I get home.
Yeah.
That's 8 hours. She's got to be like, damn. She's got to fill her mind or whatever the fuck he was doing. And there's no fill in that gap. There's nothing. There's no calling you when I get to the job. There's none of that.
There's no checking.
None of that.
Now it's constant text and it's like, how was your day? Like, you know what my day was.
I stopped asking I used to get mad at my wife. She's like, you didn't even ask me how my day was. She goes, we spent the whole day talking.
You know what you can do? Instead of asking how was your day, in the beginning of the day, like, what are your intentions for today?
I do that.
Yeah.
It's like, so what's on the agenda for today? What we doing? Yeah, I always do it.
And then you'd be like, yo, how'd that work out?
Yeah.
But I don't be talking to the guys throughout the day. I got stuff to do.
Okay,
So
you just ruined the whole mashup. So now
why are you mad? I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying. Like, it's definitely different from the
What
past.
I'm saying is the fact that you compare the dudes that you're dating to your dad,
I'm talking about just when it
that's
comes
by definition
to.
daddy issues.
I think when it comes to just like how these guys think, this mindset of these guys of just like, it's almost like they want to be the bad bitches almost.
here we go with this Taylor shit, yo.
I'm for real.
In what
A lot of
context?
these guys, I feel like, because, you know, we're brought up as female that, you know, we're the prize. Like, a man should be, I know you said we're not supposed to be.
Hold on. It's 2023. Ain't no prize. If you're a prize, I'm a prize.
But I'm talking about
What?
I'm talking about the classic of just when it comes to courting a woman and everything.
But y'all want to be independent, though.
We can be
Y'all
independent.
cannot have the old school
Why
ways
can we
with
be
these new school
What's-
technologies.
I'm
It doesn't work the
independent,
same.
so I can't be courted?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
All right, then don't be independent then.
That does not make any sense.
Your mom wasn't independent when she was getting courted.
Yes, she was.
She needed that man.
She's a free mind.
She
like,
needed that man.
Why do you say that? They met in college. What are you talking about now?
You can't ask for old ideologies in this new day.
That doesn't make any sense. I just met this guy and we're dating. You don't think
Smash
that we
day
need to-
2. It's not 1980, God. Give up the poom poom, baby.
You sound crazy. Yeah. You see what I deal with, Humble?
I think the best way to look at it is I understand this whole courting thing and
What's your take on it, though? You don't think...
it's kind of connected to what he's saying, which is, look, at the end of the day, rules are important irrespective of what the rules are. People knowing what they should be doing is important irrespective of what those are. When you look at the old rules, right, without arguing, completely understand that one side is not being treated as well in terms of the roles, but because the roles existed for so long, it has created a well-oiled machine. Not saying it, you know, women benefit completely from those roles. Where we're at right now, we just have to understand we're in a transition period. So I agree with both of you and disagree with both of you in the context of we're in a transition period where it's like, yo, the old roles work, and what's happening is, and this is culture by definition. This is the oldest story in history, which is the story of Horus is, and I might be mixing up the names, his son kills him and brings it and takes his eye. And the idea is you take culture, you're not a prisoner of culture. You take culture, discard the old, the irrelevant, and you keep what's valuable. Mm-hmm. You keep what's valuable and you push that forward. And you are a contributor of culture. So what women are trying to do right now is, yo, I want to be independent. I want this, and the joke is gonna start posting some inappropriate shit because I need a guy to come change my tire. You know, just funny shit like that, right? And I've seen this in same-sex relationships with women. They're dealing with this shit with the breadwinner and the non-breadwinner and all of that. And people have arguments with like, I don't care if she cleans the house. I could hire someone to do that. I need her to not stress me out over my changing of my schedule in last minute because I work my ass off to have all this money. And that doesn't mean 8 p.m. is my end date. It might be 8:30, maybe whatever. I need someone to understand that. I don't care if they clean. We can hire someone to clean.
So let me ask you a question. Do you believe in love languages, though?
No,
You
definitely
don't?
not. Definitely not. Everybody's love language is to be seen and understood. That's it.
Exactly. Which
And then
means
you just take an umbrella and like, well, see me through touching me. See me through giving me a
Exactly.
gift. But it's just being seen and understood. See
if
me
you,
and
but
understand me.
but it's the breakdown of it.
See, what I think I love his ideology. I'm not gonna lie. Before today, I didn't know too much about you, but I am a complete fan now.
I appreciate it.
He breaks the love to its simplest form, and once there's no misconstruing love at its simplest form. If we all look at it through that lens, there's no we make it complex. Love is simple.
We make it complex based off, like, your expectations are still coming from what you see. It ain't coming from anything else. And we live in a culture, especially with Instagram, where everybody's faking it and everyone forgets that everybody else is faking it. You know, so all the couples goals, all this, all that, we know it's all bullshit, but we do it too and we participate in all that. And I think that's where this is everything is done for display purposes. People fall in love with their wedding more than their marriage. And they do everything for show. And you spend money on your wedding, money on an engagement ring, when factually one of the highest reasons for divorce is financial issues.
Going
Of
back to
course.
Fresher
No,
and
look.
his girl.
No. I understand all that what you just said.
So even the courting stuff, the challenge with that is, and
But like, no, I'm not to cut you
Yeah,
off.
no,
But
sorry.
realistically, though, if you meet a guy, he's just supposed to just come over, just supposed to
I'm
talk.
not, no, but now you're looking at it as this or that, right?
Okay.
So I've been, for example, a female was very upset with me I'm from Toronto, right? Toronto's the most multicultural place in the world, right?
Besides New
Every
York.
every person of color in Toronto is a child of an immigrant.
You said is
Yeah,
it? Okay, yeah.
is, okay? We don't have African Americans. We don't have generational black people in Canada, or a lot. I might maybe one or two in my entire life. So I grew up on Caribbean food. I grew up on all this. I was hanging out with a black girl in LA, and she said to me, I want mashed potatoes. And then she shows me her phone, and her phone had it was open to Yelp and had some like Korean, some barbecue spot. I took the phone, I searched mashed potatoes in the thing, and ordered mashed potatoes from the first place I saw. She said, I showed you where I wanted mashed potatoes from. I didn't connect barbecue and mashed potatoes. That's not like
Gotcha.
mac and cheese, soul food.
Yeah.
This isn't stuff I grew up on. Okay? I didn't connect it. Her reaction to that was, you suppress my voice, you don't respect me. Yeah. All of this. Then, and again, I'm used to popping out. So I went the other way, overdid it, just went quiet. We were leaving, and she goes, why you treat me like shit? I go, how'd I treat you like shit? She goes, you didn't open my door. It gets too extreme. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, I
It gets
know
too
you're not
extreme.
white.
No,
That
I would
sounds
not do that.
just like
No,
you.
it doesn't. Stop.
But here's the thing, and
Stop.
it gets deeper because it's a tripwire. I probably did something that tripped her wire, and again, like, everybody has different triggers and what have you, and it's unfortunate. And as I said, like, she probably went through some shit where people don't hear her voice, and now she interprets
Yes.
all that as, and I'm trying
She
to do it with
projected,
empathy.
yeah.
At the end of the day, I didn't do
It's
anything though, other than not open the door and order, and I got mashed potatoes. I just didn't get them from
Yeah,
that
exactly.
spot. 'Cause I don't have that context.
I feel her to an extent. I get her not feeling heard and suppressed voice. That was a bit much. I and the
That
triggering.
might have been pretty girl privilege. I don't know.
It's the triggering thing. One time, my wife didn't give me, so I thought was the big piece of meat.
Oh, I remember this story. Here we go.
Yo, fam.
Here we go.
I work 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. I should get the big piece. It shouldn't be even a question if my piece is the bigger piece or not. It was something that triggered me because as a kid, I always used to want to get the big piece, but my stepdad always got the big piece of chicken. My mom was like, that's not for you, that's for him. So I
So
understand
as a
that.
dad now,
No, and but again, like that, the only thing that's gonna solve all that is communication. But I think it goes back to that where you're like, well, if he ain't trying to court me, then all of a sudden
it's
now
not.
he's just,
But because you know why I say that though, for real, for real.
For what?
In this daytime, in this day of time, like with these guys, they will take you out the first and second. It's the same thing when it comes to even like with sex. Like they get comfortable, and then soon as you go over their house, it's just like, all right, it's cool.
but that's
Like
about you and your standards. It's not
Wow!
about
Yo,
courting.
son, I couldn't have wrote this
It's just
episode any
standards.
better.
It's not about expectations. You can have standards about anything you want. You're allowed to have standards, and then you own the consequences of that standard.
Tell your vagina to chill out.
first of all, relax.
It's
Because I'm not even still saying that we even.
nothing wrong with that. Expectations are okay.
It's just because it's more transactional that way, right? And I think instead it's like, because at the end of the day, what is it about chivalry do you actually want? What is it about having a rich guy do girls actually
It's
want?
not.
it's
not about rich
safety.
guy, though.
It's respect.
Security.
What you want
Security,
is safety,
definitely.
respect, security.
And
but
money
then,
provides that.
but and it goes. But it also, you can get granular with that. Like what? There's a funny video I saw about a girl being like, "I'm not dating a guy under 6'3", and the dude who was 6 was like, "Why not?" Because I feel safe with him. In what way? If people attack us, she's like, "You think somebody who's 6'3" will keep you safer than a guy who's 6?" She's like, "What if there's 5 of them? The 6'3" guy can't keep you safe from 5 guys."
Exactly.
And then she's like, "Well, he might know karate." Well, anybody
What?
can know karate.
Exactly.
Because
Like,
like
what?
the truth is, I believe I want somebody tall because I feel safer, even if it doesn't make sense. And at the end of the day, there might be a dude who's 5'2", who is a professional boxer who will keep you significantly safer, or even better than that, there might be a guy who can keep you financially safe because
It just doesn't look good in pictures. That's why.
for display purposes
That's
only.
you. You
Life
listen.
is
I'll
turned
show
into
you.
Instagram.
I'll show you DMs with Michaela. Every time I see a
I
tall
know.
person, I'm like, this is why you don't want to do
But
it.
come-
But he can love you. He loves you. Look,
Yeah.
stop sending me pictures like that. Yo, just because he's under
Yo,
6
that
doesn't
Chris
mean he won't
Rock
love you.
special, he said it. He's like, nobody has it harder than life than a short man. Nobody works harder than life than a short man.
Yeah, I saw
and he
that.
goes, that's why Kevin Hart has more money than all of us.
Yep, it makes
That's
sense.
hilarious.
And it is hilarious. But
But
it's
guess
true.
what though? Kevin Hart is also a comedian. That goes far too. If you make people laugh,
Yeah, because comedy is honesty meets intelligence.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the feeling. He's funny, which means he's smart, and it also means there's a level of honesty because the joke's only funny if it's true. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about chasing those feelings and how they make you feel about something more so than anything else. So when you look at it from that level, then you'll realize there's more than one way a man can make me safe. There's more than one way a man
course.
can show me respect.
Yes.
There's more than one way a man can make me feel like I matter, like I'm seen, like I'm all of that. Well, so when we go to this older, like open my door for me, do this, do that. Like these are things that, like, again, it goes back to culture and how people were raised. And everybody can learn that. But then, and it also goes back to this, like, there's guys mistreating their girls and they make up for it with a trip to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Like the grand gestures isn't love. I had to quote it, like, love is fuel, not glue. Love don't keep you together. It's the work that you do
course.
through the love.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be through these gestures.
Me and my best friend, we both come from single mom homes. And then when we started dating, we got into like serious relationships. I realized I was the man my mom needed because I saw what she went through. And as a teen, you're like, I don't ever want a woman to go through that. So in my mind, dating, I became, I got to provide and be there more than anything. That is the most important thing because that's what she needed. Not neglecting what the girl I was dating needed at the time.
Yeah.
So until I grew up enough to realize that that's what I was doing, that's what I continued to do. So like
Because you're on autopilot.
Yeah.
You're just doing, autopilot is just doing what works. And most of the time, we've been doing it since we were kids, and we never go back and be like, why am I doing this? And does it serve me? Like the way you had to carry yourself in high school to like just not get picked on, right, is not going to serve you in this building.
No.
All of a sudden, like, what are you looking at? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like being confrontational, you might need that back there. You don't need that here. You got to upgrade. We have to upgrade our policies, upgrade our software, upgrade all of that. Because the stuff that we're doing, and this old way is fine, but you got to look at it that way. And the thing is, especially I noticed in America, you can be old school, and they can be old school, and everybody wins, right? But I think at the end of the day, if you want to, I feel like people should do much more work to figure out what they uniquely require. Because again, we had a 56% divorce rate in this country.
You're right.
I'm not divorcing. Listen, like Gilly said, it's either me or death. There's no other nigga. There's no other stops on this train. It's me and God. Sit, baby.
So
I love you, girl.
one last thing though, because
Please.
I don't believe this is. You see why? This is why
What
I
are
can't
you
be
going
vulnerable. This is why I can't be vulnerable. Okay, we gotta be trying to be vulnerable with these niggas. But then I have niggas like this around me all the time, where I gotta feel like I
Man up,
gotta
nigga.
What's up?
Man up, nigga.
He hasn't said nothing to you to make you not vulnerable.
Humble. Whose side are you on?
I'm not taking sides.
He's on the side of love.
but
Obviously, my dude's in the trenches, so even I can't speak to him. Like he's in the trenches, he's living there. I ain't got no wife and kids. But who am I to start talking about that? He gets the point for that. He's in a relationship, and he has children and a family.
yes.
He's buying the cinnamon sticks and doing all the work.
You see what I'm saying? Mouth shit, son.
But
You
let
living
me-
an easy life out here. Dating.
It's it's not the easy life though. Because
All you dodging
listen.
is COVID and bills.
listen,
You know what I'm dodging out here? Diapers, snot, milk
on,
prices
career
rising,
woman.
eggs
Listen,
is crazy.
wait,
There's no
struggle.
Similac.
wait, listen.
A career woman is its own struggle.
Exactly, and you already know. So,
You chose that struggle, baby.
no, I didn't. Actually, I didn't. How would I have? Why? Why do you think I chose this?
You.
Actually, no, you're right. I did choose it, but at the same time, like you make it seem like I was about to be already set up in a marriage and everything else like that.
I didn't say all that.
Okay, so
You made this life for you because these are the things you chose. You wanted this life because you wanted you had a certain standard for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. I'm telling you, lower your standards and life will be a lot easier for you.
no, I'm not lowering my.
Have you read the book
standards.
Attached? First finish my book.
Yes.
Yes.
You read Attached?
No, I haven't read Attached.
I think Attached is the book you got to read after this.
But look, I just want to say this before we leave, because we definitely have to have you back on. Cause
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, I said
he
we gotta
said-
get part
he said-
two.
he told us
I'm
off.
moving here in a month. I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm
he
moving
said
here in a
off
month.
there. He's here gonna be here for a little bit. We might have to do a series with my
Yes.
humble dude.
No, for real. So basically, I want to say this though. I don't necessarily believe in soulmates. I used to in a way when I was younger, whatever. But now I do feel like it's just who you are willing to make it work and, all that jazz. What?
I disagree. I think that's settling. I think
Why?
I fully believe me and my wife were supposed to be. There's certain days where I'll be thinking about her and phone rings. There's certain days where
That's because y'all grew into that.
no,
though.
I'm talking about before we were even married. I'm talking about dating wise. We're connected on. At least I could be all the way wrong. I feel like there's a different. We vibrating on a different level, me and her, than I've ever vibrated with
Look,
another
he's
chick
not
before.
getting divorced. You
Look,
can put money on that.
and that's great.
Like this
But-
thinking, this language, everything. He's just not getting divorced. Like, you can put money on that.
But for me, I
Told
feel
you.
like I've met that, to me, what I thought was real love. Like that genuine real love back in the day. Now, today, and then, shit happens, whatever that. It's no beef or nothing that towards the guy I'm thinking of. But it just can't happen.
I feel like all you should. So one activity that I did with my therapist was I relived my entire love life out loud to her, and she paid attention to my face. And whenever it glowed, she goes, write that down. And then it ended up creating a list of what I want in a perfect partner.
Right.
And then the next piece of advice was become that. You are what you attract.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, and at that point, so for a perfect example, for me specifically, a deal breaker is I can only be with somebody who's also in therapy, right? Every time, and I always break that rule because she's fine, and then I just you know what I mean?
And that's what I'm
And
saying,
then it
though. But
bites
that's
me in the ass.
human.
But then it bites me in the ass, and I learn. You know what I mean?
But he's aware
I'm
enough.
aware.
to
But
know
I
that.
am
victim of
too.
it.
Yes.
I get
Okay.
yelled at about mashed potatoes. I'm like, shit.
See, if I would have fucking chose the bitch, I was going to fucking
'cause she told
therapy.
me her sister was a therapist, and we found out her sister is a secretary at a hospital.
Lying ass.
It's hilarious. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm just saying, like, you can have your standards. You can have your standards, but own the consequences of your standards.
I would like to say this to put in the atmosphere. Fellas, whoever, like the new guy I meet and everything else, I'm going to try. Look, I be saying to these guys, don't stay on my good side, we have no problem. But they always do the opposite. Because I really much am a very caring, catering. I want to have a love that, like, I do want to be unconditional and everything else like that. But I don't see any of these guys that have that.
They don't need to have unconditional love for love.
I understand that.
And you can have love in your favorite food. You can have love in your favorite activity. You can have love in all these things unrelated to people. And then let people be people and do that. And then find somebody who's what other people may consider red flags. For you, they're just special considerations. As I said, for somebody else, it might be completely annoying. Like, oh, I don't mind that. I grew up around that. That's cool for me.
Right.
And it's like, just set your standards. And then there's a woman I saw on Instagram. She said she was dating 13 men at the same time.
That's a lot. She got nothing to do.
But she was like, but then she found number.
She got no walls left either.
got nothing to
I don't
do.
know if she was sleeping with 13 men. She was dating 13 men. And then I think man number 13 ended up being the husband. So it was like
Damn, the last one. You're dead.
that's
Damn.
when she stopped. Otherwise, she would go to 14 to 15. So I think from that standpoint, it's important.
Okay, Taylor.
Okay. Damn, y'all. This is a good episode.
Listen, I'm gonna say that this is my last thing. We broke all format today for you.
Yeah, I
All
Yes,
format.
we
Like
did,
there was a
because we had
million
whole
shit,
thing.
and I'll do it a million times again for Humble. I swear to God, this was an amazing episode.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I knew a little about you before. Now I'm a full out fan. I'm gonna find that book on audio book. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna tune in. You've got a fan in me for life, bro. Thank you for what you're doing. Let them know how to
Yes.
get
How to
the
get
book
to you,
and all that good stuff.
Yeah, just me. I'm at Humble the Poet, and then the book is everywhere books are sold, plus humblethepoet.com/love.
All right, y'all. And as y'all all know,
As we always say, Taylor, go ahead.
no thought is ever empty.
Love and peace.
Listen to empty thoughts.